anyone to get off their darkest ground.
I've been talking a lot lately about how recent mobile phones are all pretty much the same, with generally only a few small points of differentiation. Today's a little different in that I've got a phone that is truly one of a kind, and by one I mean two screens, that is. That's right, the ZTE made Nubia X comes with not one, but two screens. And it's eliminated the front camera altogether, giving us a full-on notchless display with about a reported 96% screen-to-body ratio. This is going to be a slightly different review than I've made recently, as I'm really going to focus on the unique aspects of this device, and will give only a short general spec overview. I'm Adam, tech editor with Gizmo China, and I'm about to answer the question if two screens on a phone are actually better than one. Inside the clean, patterned box with Nubia written in the center, you find the phone, SIM tray ejector tool, some paperwork, an 18-watt fast charger with a USB-C cable, and a USB-C 3 to 3.5mm audio jack. Looking from the front of the Nubia X, the phone could be made by just about anyone, as it seems like a fairly generic black phone. However, upon further inspection, you can see there's no notch, which knocks out quite a few phones that we know of. Checking the sides and top offer no slider or pop-up camera, so where's the dang selfie camera? The phone has very rounded sides and back edges. Wait, I see something else that's unusual. There's two side fingerprint readers. One of them on the left, one on the right. What's going on here? Just above the right side fingerprint reader is the all-important power button, while on the left side is the volume rocker and SIM tray. The top of the phone has an IR blaster for those who want to have a little fun with your friend's TV. It has an assist mic and two antenna lines. The bottom of the phone has the main microphone, USB-C port, and the lone speaker. Flipping the phone over, the back has a two-camera module on the top left, along with a flash and some sensors. The bottom has the Nubia logo. Nothing else to see here. Wait. What is that? Lifting up the phone. What? Sir, there's a screen on the back of your phone? Okay, so now we know what's going on here. ZTE has stuck a second screen onto the back of the Nubia X so they can accomplish two things. One, no notch on the front, which allows for a beautiful viewing experience. And two, no need for a front-facing camera for selfies. Let's talk about these two ideas. First, the 6.26-inch IPS LCD on the front looks fantastic, but as is the case with any LCD panel, has some larger bezels than many of the top phones around. They're still quite small, but bigger than the AMOLED screens on most flagship phones these days. This said, I really like the overall understated look from the front and feel it's a strong point when in use. I do feel that ZTE could have likely used some of the bezel space for a standard front-facing camera. But then what would make this phone any different than other feature phones, you know? This is real differentiation with only a few designs currently going notchless with an edge to nearly edge screen from the front. Second, removing the additional camera tech for a front-facing camera opens up space both inside and out. Plus, having a screen on the rear of the phone means any selfie star can take their photos with the best camera on the phone and still know what's going on in the photo. So let's look at the rear screen and see what it can do. It's a 5.1-inch OLED screen that's HD, and along with the front, covered in Gorilla Glass 3, you can use this screen just like the front-facing screen, as it's got multi-touch and is just as usable, if just a little bit smaller screen real estate. When the phone is locked, you can have a high-res always-on option, and that's about it. There's really nothing else I could think of in my use that this screen adds. It makes you wonder if the back screen is really worth it just for selfies and making the front notchless. Well, my opinion is that it is not worth it. There are those out there that need the best selfie experience available. This is at least in the running. For everyone else, it's a bit of a gimmicky waste of space on an otherwise fine flagship with actually killer specs. If you're enjoying this review of the ZTE Nubia X, make sure to press the like button. We'd love to hear your thoughts on if you think having two screens is really necessary and why. Please leave your comments below and subscribe to the Gizmo China channel for more smartphone and tech goodness. The specs are truly top-notch on this phone, maybe top-notchless? The Nubia X has the stellar Snapdragon 845 chipset and runs with up to 8 gigabytes of RAM. Unfortunately, the phone is still stuck on Android 8.1 Oreo with the Nubia UI 6.0 heavy skin on top. The quick launch, back, multitasking, and home gestures all run from the bottom with set swipes up. This works well, but is unusual for most Android users. Add in that this was the first phone I couldn't get Google services to work on, so I was only able to use apps from the Nubia App Center. Yeesh. Good to see Antutu in that store though, and man, this blew that test out of the water with a score of 291,436. That's true top tier mobile computing. Gaming was painless as long as you could read Chinese or just know the games well enough in terms of hardware, and ran smooth. Good to go there. Unlocking the phone is fairly standard, just offered it a pair. Using either of the fingerprint sensors unlocked the phone speedily, and the screen that turned on was the screen pointing upward at the time of unlocking. Pretty groovy. When I wanted to switch the phone over to use the other screen, I ran into some issues. It's not difficult to do. You just gotta press on both fingerprint sensors at the same time, then simply flip the phone. That sounds easy enough. In practice, it's quite awkward, and I tried all I could just not to drop the phone. Also, the swap doesn't work if you're in the camera app. You gotta use the flip button and flip away. Another issue is that when you're using the screen on the back, the power and volume buttons are opposite from normal use, which could cause some mistakes. Even with the second screen, the battery life was pretty decent, as I could get through most of a day of heavy use without dropping below 30% battery life. Attempting a full day for a heavy game or video user could get close, but the fast charger is useful and uses fast charging for tech. There's some fun to be had with the main 16 megapixel camera on this phone, and not just when taking selfies. In fact, I feel this has some of the more fun camera modes I've seen in a while. Most Android phones are actually pretty similar, but with the Nubia X, it's just not the case. Sure, you got the standard photo, video, portrait, and pro modes, but the Nubia X has what they call a camera family of apps. It's a colorfully labeled group of camera doohickeys that are all full of fun, and when you're creative, it'll give you some excellent images. In this family, you have 16 different modules, with each giving you a unique photo option. Boy, oh boy, it's fun to mess with. I really like the clone and zoom blur modes, but there's so much to do here, you'll be sure to find something to wet your whistle. I wish this type of suite was found in more phones, and is by far my favorite thing about this phone. To be honest, the standard modes are just that, standard with nothing truly outstanding about them. The photos look fine, even up to really good, but while the video looks clean enough, there's no optical image stabilization, so it's all up to the phone to digitally stabilize your actions. It does well, but far from the quality of a gimbal or optical stabilization offers. So do you feel that the two screens on this ZTE Nubia X is the best choice for you? Or do you feel it's a less than necessary option, offering only cosmetic differentiation? I can say that I feel the phone has internal hardware and some software options that are far more useful and unique in an important way than the second screen. However, without that second screen, many people might not take a second look at this phone. But once a full view is offered, a fantastic and wonderful experience is to be had. If only I could get Google services to work on this thing. I know one thing. I love when manufacturers push the envelope, and hope ZTE continues its innovation, creating positive ideas and options for consumers.